Looks like it. We've had some issues this week, but that's okay. It is Friday. It is Fantabulous Friday, and we're going to pull that fantabulous out of us because it's been one of those kooky weeks. Good morning, everyone. This is Carol Sue, aka Naughty Boss, live with Two
Sisters. Hey, good morning, everyone. It's Janice, aka Wellness Diva 5.0, and I might add still a very sore Wellness Diva. But today is not about me. It's about diving right on into the hot topics. And boy, do we have some hot topics to discuss. So let's hop right on into it.
We do. But first, before we even get into the hot topics, I love to always start out my day with something positive, something that we can do in a time where we really feel like we're choking and we're handcuffed to what's going on in our world. But we also know that we can make a difference, even though they're baby steps. So today is Cholesterol Awareness Day. Cholesterol syndrome, I know personally someone's daughter that suffers from it. It is a syndrome, and I'm not going to go into all the details of it. I'm going to spell it for you. K-L-E-E-F, as in Frank, S-T-R-A. So today is Cholesterol Awareness Day, and their color is purple. So I'm wearing purple, and Purple Friday. I mean, there's something fun about it, but also helping to define the odds with research and really helping these families that are impacted by this horrific situation that they have to go through. Can't even really get into all the different details of the person that I know because I wouldn't want to do that. But I do know actually now that she was diagnosed many, many years ago when she was born, it was now all of a sudden hearing more and more about it of people that I know who know somebody. So Cholesterol Syndrome Day, today is Awareness Day. Wear your purple proud. Google it, research it, and if you know a family that is dealing with a loved one that has that, give them extra love today, and let's help be part of the positive change of awareness of that. So that's how we're going to start our day off, because it's always good to start your day off with something that you can control. So I did not start my day off with something that I could control, because I was walking two doggies and getting them to pee and poop. One was very, very accommodating, and the other one just, I'm going at my own pace. And when you're waiting for something to occur so you can get to point B of your day, yeah. So how did I deal with that? I just embraced the sunshine, the beautiful morning, got a little, power walking in, because the two of them like to really kind of run. So I looked at the blessings of that. I wasn't in control of which one was going to go when and how long it took, but I survived. That is how my day. But it's so good to be able to start your day off with something that you can control. Because like I said, we are like handcuffed here. As most of you are aware, if you may not necessarily watch the news, but you were getting those alerts. I was really taken aback last night, and I don't typically watch the news anymore. I just don't, because I know it's out of my control, and I really try to avoid at all costs things that are going to like wind me up, right? So like most of us do, we kind of take the alerts off our phone, go out of our way not to watch the news anymore, but somehow, you get that alert and you're like, should I watch it? Should I not watch it? So I got suckered in and I watched it because the headline drew me in. And how many times does a headline draw you in? And I would say the last is probably, but I think the last 7 days, the leader of the free globe, as I'm going to call it, I feel, and again, these are our opinions that we share with you. We'd like your take on them as well. But I really didn't like the tone. I really wasn't a fan of the tone the last week that he addressed the citizens of our country. I didn't like the tone. I didn't like, I'm not a fan of the whole going to the microphone really slow and talking in the tone that he does. It's kind of creepy. But in addition to that, then there was that scolding, with the finger. The point that he took, that his patience was running out with our country, with regards to what he wants you to do. But then last night, you know, I was really taken aback because he is annoyed that I believe it's, I'm going to say maybe 5 to 6 states. I don't know the exact number. It looked like 5 to 6 states, could be more, could be, I think it's at least 5. It might be more than 5 that have really implemented using these antibody clinics, the mono antibody clinics, to really help those that come down with the thing that's been going on for the last 2 years, close to 2 years. And it really is assisting them in recovering at a quicker rate. Great news, right? That we have something that can assist in that. So, for instance, in the state of Florida, which a lot of people don't realize, the state of Florida has actually the most people per capita vaccinated. There's that word. It's a big state. I mean, Florida, we know Florida, Texas, those are big states. But a lot of people, when they hear about these clinics coming up, they assume that it's just for the unvaccinated. And actually, in the state of Florida, that now has a lot of people pouring in uninvited to the state. There are not many people that are actually going to these clinics to get this help that actually were vaccinated. So a lot of people don't realize that. They're assuming that it's the unvaccinated that are going to get these mono antibodies. But in the state of Florida, because our percentages are higher, it's mostly vaccinated. And they, you know, I trust our state's own stats versus from a global, because let's face it, numbers you can play games with, right? So anywho, this particular drug to make these mono antibodies is not in a shortage. There's more than enough that can sustain all of our states, more than enough. But they're finding from the person that's in the big house that 70% of the demand right now is coming from about 6 to 7 states, somewhere in that time frame, that number frame. Therefore, and they happen to be the shade of red, the states that are taking up 70% of the amount. So last night, or at some point yesterday, I didn't read the entire statement because, again, I try not to watch him live at all costs. He now stated at one point in one of his speeches, and I believe it was his yesterday's speech, that he stated that if red states do not comply, there's that word comply, his demands of what he wants done, that he's pushing on people, that he will use his power to basically get back at them. So what he has done now is he's going to limit the supply amounts that a particular state may ask for. Because, hey, if you're not doing as I say, I'm going to use my power. So think about that. You've got someone that's in charge that knows that they have a commodity, that there's no shortage of this commodity, that is helping people, helping the people that in the same country that you live in. And now you're going to dangle the carrot because you're not pushing my agenda of what I want done with this. And for those that cannot see me, I'm holding my hands up to my face. I'm sure you know what I'm referring to, as well as get the juice. I'm going to make sure that you don't get enough of that medicine. You can imagine my moment of, I wanted to take my phone and throw it at the TV set. And I thought, I really try to put aside and really make sure, you know, because we always talk about that, set yourself up for success, for health, for wellness, for mindset, and don't put yourself in situations where you know the outcome's not going to be too good, right? So what did I do? I watched the damn thing. Bad mistake. What's your take on all that, Jan?
Well, let's see. There's so many things I can say. Well, I will just start out by saying the tick occupying 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue does not lead. Because whether you like Biden or you don't like Biden, and I call him the tick. First of all, we all know that people do not like to be told what to do. I hear the word mandate and I cringe to begin with. So I have to take myself out of that context and say, all right, what are they trying to achieve here? What is the what is the end goal? If you are going to limit something that benefits the people that you supposedly serve, oh, that's right, because we're not agreeing with you, we're not going to supply you with that. Now, let's be realistic. If President Trump was in office, all, and I mean all of the news medias would be having a field day with that. We're still, the major news outlets, we all know, are still protecting the tick. Maybe they should think about getting a flea collar. And if anybody wants to know specifically what I mean by tick, T-I-C, send me a private message, because I will not say it on the airwaves, but I will let you know if you send me a direct message. T-I-C.
Yeah, he is a TIC, all right. And you know, when you think about that, I mean, think about have we ever been in a time that you can remember that someone in the position that circus clown master is about, did you ever come to think about a time in our world or country that, and I'm not talking about any other country, because we know there's a lot of, commie countries out there. Our country is not. We live in the greatest country there is. But how sad it is that we have someone in that highest position threatening citizens and threatening leaders of states. I mean, you have, state rules, guidelines, state mandates, state rules, all of that. And then there's the bigger side, the F side. And, our Constitution, and the other great thing today, which a lot of people probably don't realize, today is Constitution Day. I suggest people go and read the Constitution, get to understand the Constitution. And in particular, I'm going to say invoke Article 4, number 4. Go read about it. Invoke Article 4, number 4. Because what is going on in our world right now, we're not there. We're not the big cheese. We're not the big, person with the big red nose that is directing everything and has, the purse strings, although he doesn't really have the purse strings. There's other people that have the purse strings. But when have we ever come to a point in our country, a time in our country, where that person that's in charge talks down to its citizens, is not uplifting, is nothing about bringing people together. He's all about pulling people apart. He's all about fear mongering. And it's not just him, it's his whole conglomerate of little clowns that are, his clown posse behind him, and Raggedy Ann, that are pushing this narrative of fear, dismay, dismantle, destroy. When have we ever been in a time like that? I can't, and there have been some other prezzies that have not do justice to its citizens, but I can't recall anyone this destructive.
Well, it's not only destructive, it's as you said, dismantle. It's the dismantling of our constitutional rights that were put in there for a reason. And what I have a very big problem with is and we don't know all the behind the scenes, but referring to Article 4, Section 4, and I'm sure many of you can probably guess, we are probably referring to the general
Yeah,
I'm just going to say that. So we don't know all the facts. So I just want to be very clear about that. But if indeed this book that is coming out, if that book is credible, meaning that is the truth and that can be backed up by those 200 anonymous people, that's a big issue. That means that those reporters sat on this story. That means so history could have changed, but they sat on something that was so explosive. We lost 13 service members, and my heart aches for those families and friends. My heart aches for the Afghans who went out of their way to support the United States in this endeavor. I think we all can agree that, yes, we should have a long time ago, number one, and I supported President Bush, the son, did not agree with him going into Afghanistan. I think we can all agree that we wanted to get out of Afghanistan. That's a given. The way it was done was inconceivable. And to bring it forward to where we are today, what has transpired this week, I heard a glimpse of one of the CNN reporters, and Joy Reid, if you can hear my voice, you suck. Like, you are just, you may be, I'm sure you are a very well-educated person.
nah, I'm not really sure about that.
You suck.
You know what? Yeah, and the reason why I say that, a well-educated person has no problem whatsoever educating themselves on both sides of the coin, because you want to understand, you know, if you're truly an educated person, you are postured enough and strong enough and confident enough to hear the opposing side with respect, with due diligence for that person where they're coming from, and also kind of dissect what they're saying. You know, are there some truths to that? This is what I know. This is the facts as I know them. So she's not an intelligent person because she flaunts her in her way. Her agenda is about making sure that she stays relevant in today's society. That is it. I don't even know why she's still on the air, because she's not relevant. She has no poise. She has absolutely no class. And she does a disservice to people. And I know that's part of the whole, let's face it, she's on a talk show that, you know, adding the drama and the, you know, difference of opinions and the bickering going back and forth, that's part of the flair of the show. So I do get that piece to it, that there is a dramatic side to what they do for ratings, to keep the interest going or whatever. I haven't even watched the show and I can't tell you how long. It's been years. But she's irrelevant in my eye, because anyone that's intelligent does want to give the person that has the opposing view the benefit of the doubt, because you may learn something, you may take away maybe a different perspective that you might not have known, but it also may enlighten you on something that you just never heard about. So while people, when they have these debates and conversation, a debate doesn't have to be nasty. A debate and a difference of opinion doesn't have to go array to some cray-cray land where, you know, now they're name calling and, you know, you're in my face, and it gets angry and violent and miserable. You don't need to do that. And anyone that's intelligent enough and postured enough to understand that there is two sides to everything, but there's actually three. There's this side, and then there's the truth. Usually one side or the other is leaning closer to the truth. But that's just life. And if we can't learn to be respectful of people that don't have the same background, maybe in education, but still have some value because they're speaking from either experience or because they did their own due diligence to investigate and or research whatever they're chatting about. And I think she's one that just flies off the cuff. She probably sticks her foot in her mouth more times than anyone can count. And she's not even confident or intelligent enough to say, you know what, I was wrong. I made a mistake. I said something that I should not have. That's an intelligent, postured person. She lacks all of that in class. So she's like the bottom of my shoes.
And the other thing I want to say about back to the general thing, also with this book coming out, like if that is true, that's horrible that they withheld that information. If it is not true, meaning the general did not do that, as Mark Levin said, then the general has one hell of a lawsuit. So the truth needs to come out. If he did indeed do that, I mean, obviously that has to be investigated. Congressmen, senators, who's ever on the, I think it's the Intelligence Committee, and I'm not sure, I'm probably messing up the committees. I'm not sure who would actually handle that. Those records need to be subpoenaed. America needs to know the truth. Did that actually occur or did it not?
And I think the problem with that, Jan, and I think, you know, we both agree on this, is we never get anywhere. You have all these blockbuster stories that come out. Some of them are more truthful than not, but nothing's ever done about them. The people still don't get any justice. You know, justice is not served to the people because, you know, it's one big onion. Like everyone talks about, you know, take this family down, take this past president down, do this, do that. And the bottom line is, and it's a hard pill for most Americans to digest, is you're never going to get these people. Never. They must, and I can only imagine they must have so much evidence and dirt on so many judges in all aspects and levels of judges, as well as politicians, as well as military. I truly believe that there's just a certain few, sadly and disgustingly, have so much evidence that is why nothing is ever done, because nothing makes any sense when you have some proof that finally comes out, and it has to be, like we talked about, checked, double checked, triple checked. And even if you know you've got these sealed documents and you know what it can prove, but you don't release them because you're swayed heavily not to, because if you don't do as I say, I'm going to screw with you mentality. A lot of that is going on in that segregated area that really should be a wall should put around. You know, the show, what's the name of the show? It's a movie. No, it's actually a show, Designated Survivor. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I just wish that was real.
Here's the thing with it. If it is true, what transpired, that is an act of treason.
Yes.
That MF should go before the court-martial tribunal. Yes, do all the legal things that he is entitled to. I'm in full support of that. But this is effing BS. Effing Durham, Bloomington, who are from the state of Connecticut, and I think it's Murphy. Get on the effing horn. I know you're Dems, but you represent me. You represent the state of Connecticut. Like, this is just, it's not politics anymore. It's the, who can take the silly putty, put it in the string, bounce it back, and then reform it to suit their needs. Oh boy, I'm getting heated up. So
well,
maybe
it is one of those things, because I think it just adds to the layer of frustration that our citizens are feeling with everything that we, you know, haven't we been through enough? And now we're going to kind of change the topic, because haven't we had enough? If you have not seen the video of that poor 2-year-old who suffers from asthma, and I have an adult child, but I can remember the days who suffers from asthma and being on an airplane and you know, the altitude changes, it's hard enough for them to breathe. And what American Airlines did to that poor family, to that poor child, is egregious at best. You know, how much more can citizens take? And that's the point. I don't know, did you get to see the video?
No, I did not see that video. I did hear about it, but what
Wow.
has to start happening, obviously, there is an uproar. Mask mandates, no mask mandates, double mask, the this, the that, like, this is not the America that we grew up in. And I want to say the last meaningful Democrat who really in my lifetime stands out to me, there's actually two. JFK and the Connecticut Center, Joe Lieberman.
Yes, he was good. Also, Robert Kennedy is another one that, you know, that comes to mind. And, you know, I think for most people that are reasonable, at this point, they don't really care about red or blue. The only time that they really get into about the red or blue is the anomalies that happen between a red state and a blue state, where certain things are taking place more in one state of a color than not. So in that sense, yes, you know, people chat about that piece to it. But at the end of the day, I think Americans as a whole are just tired of not having justice. They're tired of not having people work for people. They're tired of, you know, blatant lies now. Apparently blatant lies, like even the speech yesterday, where I actually quoted what he said as I was walking by the television, and I did not have the TV on. I was in the back room working on old pictures, and, you know, we vowed that we would go through a couple boxes a week to make sure that we're keeping up with cleaning out things. So I've got piles of pictures of everybody I'm going to be mailing out. But anywho, you know, I happened to walk by because I needed more Ziploc bags, and I didn't even realize the TV was on. John had left it on. And I come by at the moment when the clown stated, he inherited the worst economy since the Depression, the Great Depression. And I thought, are you out of your mind? What crack are you smoking? Like, are you kidding me? You were handed and inherited the worst economy. Did we not forget that we were in a major shutdown at that point because of some very evil people that are out there that perpetrated what is going on? Everything is a distraction. I think even this whole thing with this general is a distraction. I think the dangling of medication is a distraction. They do not do anything without purpose, because that's how evil they are. They do not do anything without purpose. So I think a lot of what's going on right now are distractions because there's other crap going on in the background that yet, of course, the American people have not found out about yet. And I think it is a travesty of what is going on in our country. But how do you still try to, like, dig deep to understand and know that instead of choking in it like I was doing it last night, you have to find other avenues to combat that feeling? And it's hard. You know, us as health and wellness coaches, it is difficult. We feel you. We feel you. I was like, Jesus, take the wheel last night. Jesus, please do something. Just take me away from here. Like, Calgon, take me away. So I did. I was upset. I was angry. I was infuriated. So I went into the other room. I just put some calming music down just to calm my heart rate. And I thought, okay, this is out of my control, out of my control, out of my control, out of my control. What do I got to do? What do I got to do? So your mind starts racing. And the other sad piece to it, as a friend of mine, Alicia from Buffalo, I love that little chickie. She just lights my fire, crack her up. She was talking about how even her own children now are suffering from stress. She has one that's, you know, young teenage years, one that's in middle school, and one or two. She had 4 children. No, I think it's 3. One that's even younger. So anyway, she was just talking about the anxiety and the stress that not only parents are feeling with all the shista going on, the school systems and the CRT and the mandates and this and that. And she was saying no one is talking about all the people that are suffering from depression and anxiety, and how this climate, this stressful climate is what it's doing. And I had to take a step back last night as I put the music on And I thought to myself, it is designed by plan. This is a plan of design to drive Americans nutty, which it's doing. It's a plan of design to add stress, to add fear, to take away that resilient feeling of red, white, and blue, to make us doubt our own country, which is not our country. It's the people that are running the country that are taking this country down the toilet, between the economy and then adding trillions and trillions. Oh, let's just print out more money and trillions and trillions. Let's get more money for the people who sit on the couch to become fat, stupid, bored, and couch potatoes. Why do we think it's acceptable for a teachers union to demand that no accolades be shown for people that hard work? And if that's the mantra and the mantra that everyone, however you want to say it, if that's the new thing, then why do we have any competition at all? Take away the Olympics. Take away the NFL, which, of course, let's not get into these sports because that's a whole other story. So how do you do that when you're choking in all this emotion? So what I say to do is get it out. Do not, let it stay within you. Voice your opinion, but always do it respectfully and understanding that you're always going to get opposing views. Not be that keyboard bully. You can say, if you got factual information, but don't be a pushover. Like a lot of people think if you have that debate and you combat someone's comments on social media, that you, oh, you're a bully. No, you're not a bully. It's okay to be postured. As long as you're doing it respectfully, there's nothing wrong with that. But make sure you do get it out. Don't hold it all inside. If you've got to pick up the phone and talk to a friend, which that's the best way to do it, or a family member, talk it out, do that. And then go do something physical. Something physical, whether it's a walk, whether it's a jog, whether it's a swim, whether it's running up and down your stairs, whether it's going in your closet and screaming at the top of your lungs. Do something that releases that energy. And then also make sure that you get your heart rate down by either some stretching, listening to some calming music, fall in love with a silly movie. These are all things that are in your control that are going to combat that chokiness that you feel. Don't you think, Jen?
Yes, absolutely. And there's a long list of people that suck on my long list of people that suck page. If you have to look at that list and, whatever you need to do to kind of calm yourself down, that's really important too, to recognize that, acknowledge it, and hopefully try to move on, not move on in the sense where you forget it, because let's be proactive here. We all need to be more active to the best of our knowledge and ability. Truth will always prevail. It may take a while, but the truth will always come out. What happens with that truth has yet to be seen. On that note, Fantabulous Friday. My name is Janice, aka Wellness Diva 5.0, and I am with TwoSistas.
And this is Carol, so aka Naughty Bus. A little fired up today, but that's okay. Don't forget to wear your purple for cleft syndrome in support, because it is that. And it's also Constitution Day. Take time to even read pieces of the Constitution. I would focus on Article 4, number 4. That would be my opinion, just my opinion, my suggestion. But you guys have a great, fantabulous Friday. Don't forget to pat yourself on the back. You did a good job this week. Even if you had some slips, if you had some missteps, if you got into situations where I didn't want to be, and you combated them and you worked through it, or if you fell off the wagon, maybe ate too much chocolate cake, didn't get your fitness level in, whatever it is, does not matter. Pat yourself on the back because it's fantabulous Friday and you are fantabulous. We will see you Monday and Monday Mindset with all the juice that's going on for this weekend. We'll let you know. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.